This game is one of the most addictive games of 2021. I spent quite a bit of time playing it and thoroughly enjoyed myself. My name's Nima, and I want to talk about Loop Hero. So, Loop Hero, in and of itself, seems, unimpressive, if you will. Like, graphically, it looks like an old school NES game. But that's not where the charm and the playability of this game come from. It's not the graphics. Even the sound is okay, I guess. I wouldn't even say it's that impressive. Decent, I suppose. The story is kind of traditional and blah, and not a lot to it when you first start playing. They don't really give you much. So, you might say, well, why is this game so addictive? It's the gameplay. Like, the gameplay is one of the funnest mechanics I've ever played. It really does put you in the space of, like, an actual D&D dungeon master. And if that doesn't really spark your interest, don't worry, I'm not a D&D person myself, and I still found this really, really fun. But before I get into the gameplay mechanics and how everything breaks down, first let me just tell you the story. So you start off as Lich, or Lick, I don't know, it's Lich, and his world is just completely destroyed. It's evaporated by some evil skeleton priest wizard thing that came along and just left nothing but blank void. And you find yourself, like, coming around, and you have a campfire. And you're stuck there with just this campfire and this loop. Looks like a concrete loop, if you will, that you can walk around, and you'll find one or two enemies. Well, after your expedition, you do return back and you find out that you can build a little bit more because of the things that you acquired on your expedition. As you can build that in, you discover, oh, I can build the world back. And that's the whole, like, story of the game. And that's also the whole point of the game, if you will, is to rebuild your civilization, if you will. Starting building by building, piece by piece. But the whole thing is, the only way to get these things is to go on expeditions. And the expeditions are intrinsically set up by you. And that's where the gameplay starts to really make sense and add up as something super, super fun. Because here's the thing. When your character goes on these loops, you have no control. He just walks. You can pause him, but that's about it. When you run into an enemy, you don't fight. He fights. And the enemies, once defeated, will drop cards. And these cards can range from anything from, like, an environmental card or an equipment card. And you can then decide what to do with these cards. You can equip the equipment, obviously. I prefer vampirism, if you will. You have to take some time to look through it and try to find it, but it really does end up paying off in the end. A little pro tip, if you will. And the environment cards are also set up. So, like, every card that you place makes an impact on this world. Keep that in mind, because for every card you place, there is a little counter in the top left corner, and as you place a card, it'll slowly raise. This level will raise, until it's full. And when it's full, it's boss time. But let's get back to the environment cards. Now, the environment cards can set up anything from infrastructure to new enemies to different events that happen. You can discover some enemies that had been lost in the void and now have returned. They're not exactly happy because they understand that resources are dire, and the only way to really get them is to kill you and to kill everything else. So the whole idea as you set up is that you create this world. You set out on this loop as many times as you want, and every time you go by and every instance, every action you do is adding to this world. You can create mountain ranges, for instance. If you stack, like, the 9 rocks / mountains in an area, 6x3, you will create a mountain. I've also created Lich's Palace before. A lot of different things that happen. Different enemies, like I say, come around. Everything from the little slime balls to, like, vampires to mosquitoes, spiders, everything you can think of. And that's where this game gets kind of interesting because you set it up. And You're always given new cards. Everything you unlock actually unlocks a new card. When you go back to your base, you can decide what card layout to run with, and that can completely dictate the type of enemies you're going to run into and the type of run you're going to have. The combination of the cards that you lay down and where they lay down depends on everything. It could add into new infrastructure, better equipment, maybe unlock more of the story that you're not aware of. So everything in there is solely based on you. And I love that aspect of this game. Now, I would say the two big things about this game is the idea of one more loop. Around like loop 6 or 7 a lot of times, you start to think, I don't think I can make it again. But you really want a little bit more stuff. Let's bring home some more stuff back to the home base. Let's build up some more infrastructure. A lot of times it doesn't work. Sometimes it does, but it's great, and I love knowing that, and just that like idea just to keep me going. Now, I will say, if you die while you're out on the loop, you lose 70% of your items, so most of that was worthless. So you really do have to be careful as to when you retreat and go back to your home base. I would honestly say that this is one of those games that just kept me coming back for more and more and more. I would finish up a run, and I'd be like, I feel like I could have got better. Because the other thing is like, the equipment drops really do help. And sometimes you have a bad run, and sometimes you don't get what you want. I've had one where I got like vampirism on all of my equipment. If you don't understand what that is, it's basically like every time you hit an enemy, you get some of that life back. And so that becomes really important kind of in your like mid to later runs. I had vampirism on everything, and I was a beast. I've been looking for that loop, or that run, if you will, like ever since. I haven't got that far yet. But that's the thing. I know that it's capable of doing it. I know that whatever I do can make that happen. Sometimes it's luck of the draw, sure. But then at other times I realize there's a bunch of card layouts. There's a lot of environment setups that I haven't discovered yet. And that makes this game really, really fun as well. I would honestly say this is super, super addictive, and it's really fun. I would pick it up. One of the things I like about it, too, is the price. Like, it's one of those games that you can sit there and play for 10, 15 minutes. Like, if you're, I don't know, at a doctor's appointment or something, and you're waiting in the waiting room, you can play it, no big deal. I also like the aspect that you can just save in the middle of a run at any point in time, which is really nice. A great game, like, to take on break at work. You don't really have to be, like, super involved. Or you can watch it, play it while you're watching TV or whatever. And yet, it still just keeps you engaged. It's really a perfect blend of a game that can suck you in, but can also kind of be played passively, if you will. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on Loop Hero. I really enjoyed it. I think you should pick it up if you're thinking about it. It's something you won't regret. But anyway, guys, take care. Have a good one.